Good morning, Gatherverse. Happy New Year. I'm super grateful to have the invite to partake in this, especially this S.H.E superhero summit and platform. This one speaks profoundly to me because I am a woman. I have been a woman in business and in career my entire career. And this is about the designers of the future and the bringing together the women who are in this arena. So I'm super grateful and super excited about this opportunity to speak. One of the things that I want to touch on, because it is a new year, is some of the information that the United Nations came out with at the new year, and that is just focus on peace. And so when we focus on peace, what does that look like? That would be the first thing that I would ask the developers of the metaverse moving forward. If the focus is on peace and unity and harmony and systems that can actually be created and designed essentially in what, for lack of a better term, is going to be like a whole new dimension in our world, which many don't yet understand. All of you all of the women designers in this arena will fully understand what I'm saying. So these are the things that I want the women designers, especially, and creators, all designers and creators, but the women especially, because we tend to be nurturers. And so who better to bring peace into the equation and into the designs than an actual consciously aware woman. When I say consciously aware, it's because my background, I love quantum physics, neuroscience, and epigenetics. And that is just essentially, to me, the understanding of how our entire physical body and system works in the world. A big component of that is our brain. And I equate that to our quantum computer systems. This is ours to program, and we'll get into that a little bit during this talk, an opportunity for me to share with all of you. Retract a little bit, give you a little more history about me. My background and experience primarily has been in corporate America. In large part, it's been working with large corporations and organizations in the capacity of consulting for several years now. And having the opportunity to have some amazing mentors along the way, for which I'm grateful, the majority of which I will say, because I have spent the majority of my career in business, have been men. And so this is another area of opportunity. Why are women important? And especially in the development and the move out with the metaverse. Again, it's about the build and the design. And the designing of this really needs to be from a very creative perspective, a very how can we design consciously? And Christopher, I know you speak to this all the time, and your team, and that's why you're here. How do you build and design with awareness and vision of the future and has the potential to impact? And the fact that all of humanity is hugely important. And I will just say to the women designers in this field, you are the women who give birth as well. You bring babies onto this planet, or you don't, but the majority, let's just say the majority of you probably have or will. That ability is literally the ability to bring heaven to earth, essentially, is how I feel about that. That's how I feel about children. I have two. I was a single mom also the majority of my entire working career. So I also want to add that into the equation because I think it's important that women know the more we open up, the more vulnerable we are, especially in the arena of work, about our lives. And we share with each other and we don't judge or criticize one another. This is where women can get a lot better about business, is learning to not be competing with one another, but instead coming together and uniting, which is really what our world needs anyhow. From a humanitarian perspective, the world needs to come together. So the women leaders need to come together, the women designers need to come together, the women architects need to come together. That female energy is very important because it's the nurturing, it's the harmony, it's the creation and the design that has the ability to change everything in this world, as does men. So, and anyone, right? And so let's talk about how special we are before we exit my talk today. I'm going to be doing a TED Talk moving forward. And on that note, I was researching TED Talks and I came across this one. And of course it was perfect and right. I'm perfect and right timing for this. And so the one thing that Mel Robinson, got to give her a shout out because this is what I'm talking about, lead by example, right? Lead by example by uniting and acknowledging other smart, intelligent women or sources of information that have come forth that are helpful in today's world, right? So Mel Robbins did a TED Talk, and the whole TED Talk was completely honed in on the fact of how special we are. And she had done a little research, scientific research, which I love, obviously. And she had come forth with the fact that they had done scientists, a group of scientists have gotten together and they had done a probability of human existence study. And so that means they literally have computated and gotten together and gathered all of the information about anything that could potentially impact the existence of every single one of us, every human on this planet, the probability of the fact that you exist or I exist or any of us exist exactly as we are in human design, literally as an entire human being physically, and I don't even think they computated perception, which would be prior programs, which would be like neuroscience. I don't even know if that's a part of the equation on this. But perception also impacts everything dramatically in regards to how our upbringing is, our education, all of those things. So those things alone already make us, each and every one of us, incredibly unique. But on top of that, this is the kind of like the physical makeup and compound component of us and who we are. It's 1 in 400 trillion, y'all, 1 in 400 trillion. That there's another, or even the probability that you could exist in this world. So on that note, I'm going to bring us into one of my favorites, and I'm just going to give you a snippet of this quote from Marianne Williamson. Huge shout out to this lady. It is our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And women, I can promise you that I know that this is true in large part for women globally. And as we can get more consciously aware and design and build and focus on a better future, this metaverse and this Gatherverse in particular is going to be a game changer. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for each of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for the opportunity to share my heart and my soul with you.